I picked up a stone from the ground and looked at our house. My heart was pounding like crazy, but there was no other way. I had to do it. I swung the stone and threw it at the window. Hi, I'm Irma. I'd always admired my mother. She's a cop. Not that long ago, she had arrested a criminal right in front of me. It was beyond cool. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and had a thick, dark beard. Mom quickly twisted his arms behind his back, handcuffed him, and pushed him into a police car. To be honest, sometimes, Mom was a lot to handle. She faced criminals every day, so she was obsessed with our safety. We'd even had an expensive alarm system installed at home. If someone broke the windows or tried to break down the door, special bars would come down and barricade the house. My mom kept important documents that couldn't fall into the wrong hands at home. But that wasn't the only reason for her caution. She really worried about me. She controlled me and didn't let me go out with just anyone. That didn't bother me. I had always liked staying in. You might be wondering why I decided to break a window in my own house. Keep listening to my story to find out. Everyone at my school was preparing for the spring dance. I was a member of a club that was raising money for it. I baked cookies and sold them to my neighbors. Everyone really liked them. Everything was going great at first, but then one day, I was walking along the sidewalk when a motorcycle suddenly drove by. It was going so fast that rocks and dirt flew out from under its wheels and got on me and the cookies. I wanted to cry, not because my dress was ruined, but because of the cookies. Now, I wouldn't be able to get money for them. I couldn't help but shout after that biker that he was a fool. I didn't think he would hear me, but he suddenly turned around and drove back towards me. I immediately remembered my mom telling me that you could never know if the person next to you was a criminal, so you should be careful. When I saw the motorcycle driving towards me, I got terribly scared. The guy had probably got angry because of my words and decided to teach me a lesson. I started running, twisted my ankle, and almost fell. My left heel broke and running became hard. Soon, I found myself in an alley and saw a dead end. The biker followed me there and stopped. There was nowhere to run. I was finished. But then, the motorcyclist took off his helmet and I saw it was a handsome guy with a sweet smile. He was very different from how I had imagined him. I was so surprised I stared at him in silence. Hi, my name is Barry. And yours? I tried to get a grip and introduce myself. Irma. Barry let out a laugh. Irma, I know I'm in the wrong here, but why did you run away? I'm sorry I noticed too late and I had ruined your clothes and cookies. I drove back and followed you to apologize. I told him I had planned to sell the cookies and raise money for the dance, and you know what? Barry paid me for the ruined batch and offered me a ride home. I wanted to refuse, but he noticed that I had broken my heel and knew I would have trouble walking back by myself. Still, I hesitated. I didn't make a habit of trusting strangers, but Barry seemed very nice, and I agreed. He gave me his helmet and brought me home. As I was getting off of his motorcycle, I saw my mom watching us from the window. When I walked into the house, she immediately started to scold me. Irma, how could you have gotten on the motorcycle with a stranger? He could have taken you anywhere. He could even be a criminal. I tried to argue and say that Barry had bought my cookies and didn't look like a criminal at all, but Mom didn't want to listen to me and forbade me from talking to him again. The next day at school, I told my friend Sarah about everything. Just imagine, Barry paid more for the cookies than he was supposed to, and to be honest, I really liked him. Sarah immediately got fired up and said that we had to find him. Our talk was interrupted by loud music coming from the hall. Some guy was singing and seemed to be playing guitar. Sarah and I went to see what was going on. When I walked into the hall, I froze right in the doorway. It couldn't be happening. Was he following me? Barry was singing and playing the guitar on stage. He was quite good at it. I was surprised. He didn't go to our school. Sarah looked from me to Barry and didn't understand why I had frozen. But then Barry noticed me. He jumped off the stage and came over. When I asked him what he was doing there, Barry said that his band has been invited to perform at the dance. He had come to practice. I need to figure out which songs from our repertoire to choose. Sarah nudged me and winked sneakily. I could help you if you want. Barry was delighted and said that he would be very grateful. Sarah hung out with us for a while and then left. Barry and I stayed long after classes were over. We discussed our schools, music, and just chatted. It turned out we had the same musical taste and both hated physics. It was dark by the time we had chosen songs for the performance. Barry offered me a ride home. I was afraid Mom would see us again, but agreed anyway. I really liked Barry and didn't want to miss the chance to talk to him. We rode his bike through the night city and it was very romantic. I asked Barry to drop me off some distance from home so that Mom wouldn't suspect anything. Before I left, Barry asked for my phone number and asked me out on a date. I was so happy. When I got home, Mom was trying to fix our broken refrigerator. I wanted to sneak into my room and notice, but of course I didn't succeed. After all, my mom was an excellent cop. You're very late. Were you with that suspicious boy again? As usual, she didn't listen to my excuses. Mom said that I now had a curfew. When I got up to my room, I immediately called Sarah and told her Barry had asked me out. But Mom forbid me from dating. Just imagine. She even set a curfew. Your mom just needs to get a personal life. If she went on a date herself, she would definitely become kinder and have less time to watch you. The idea seemed a little crazy to me. Finding a date for Mom would be difficult. She was very unladylike and spent her free time hitting a punching bag and doing push-ups. She was too serious and tough. But by morning, I had a plan. While Mom was getting ready for work, I sneakily took a photo of her. Then I used it to create an account on a dating website. I wrote about my mom's favorite movies, food, and music. Then I added our address and wrote when Mom would be at home. Of course, it was risky, and I was very worried. A couple of days passed without anything happening. I started to think I had failed when things got interesting. One evening, Mom was trying to fix the refrigerator, again, when the doorbell suddenly rang. Mom went to open the door and I carefully crept up behind her. A man was standing by the door with a bouquet of flowers. "Who are you?" The man looked Mom up and down. His gaze lingered on the somewhat large screwdriver she was holding. Sorry, I probably got the wrong address." The next day, the same thing happened again. Mom was very tired after work and sat down to eat without taking off her police uniform. We were just finishing dinner when the bell rang. I pretended to be very busy eating, and my mom had to open it again. When the new admirer saw her in uniform, he hurried to escape. Mom frowned. "Has everyone gone crazy?" I realized that something had to change or my plan would fail, so I decided it was time for desperate measures. I told my mom I would do the laundry and threw her clothes into the washing machine. Aside from the washing capsule, I asked to put green paint there. There were green spots all over Mom's clothes by the time the washing machine had finished. Mom was horrified, and I lied and said that we had just got low-quality powder. Before Mom could think of another solution, I suggested she put on my dress. She hesitated at first, but eventually agreed. Then I said that I wanted to practice my makeup skills before the spring ball. "I want to see how it looks on someone else. Can I do your makeup since you're wearing a nice dress already?" Mom reluctantly agreed. It didn't take much time, and I was very surprised when I saw the result. I hadn't expected her to look that gorgeous. Then Sarah called me. She asked me how our plan was going. It's fine, but if it doesn't work out today, I give up." I tried to speak quietly, but Mom still heard me and grew suspicious. She started to ask me all sorts of questions. I tried to lie, change the subject, laugh it off, but hiding the truth when your mom is a cop isn't easy. In the end, I couldn't bear it and told her the truth about the dating website. Mom was furious. She was so angry that I even felt scared. But then the doorbell rang and we both froze. Mom was grinding her teeth. "You are in a world of trouble if it's someone from the dating website again." I went to open the door with her. This time an elegantly dressed, clean-shaven man was standing there. Strangely enough, his face seemed familiar to me. Where could I have seen him? "I'm sorry, but there won't be any date. I didn't create the account on the website. It was my daughter's stupid prank." The man looked surprised. "But I'm not here for a date. I'm Mr. Clark, here to fix the refrigerator. You hired my company?" While he was working, they chatted quite sweetly. It turned out they had a lot of common interests. They liked the same food and movies. I couldn't remember the last time I had seen my mom look so feminine. The next day, I found out that Mom and Mr. Clark were going on a date after all. My plan worked, even though not the way I'd expected it to, which meant I could date Barry too. I called him and we agreed to meet in a cafe. However, as soon as I hung up, my mom told me that I was grounded for a week. She was still mad at me for registering her on the dating website. Before I had a chance to react, my mom had already locked me in my room, packed up, and left. I felt so wronged. It simply wasn't fair. I hesitated a little and then decided to act. I took the sheets out of the closet and made them into a rope. I tied one end to a bedpost and threw the other out the window. Feeling like a movie heroine, I climbed down the sheets and was free. Hooray, I did it! The cafe was magical. Barry gave me flowers, ordered us food and drinks. Everything was going well, till I saw another couple walk into the cafe. It was my mom and Mr. Clark. They sat down at the next table and I tried to hide behind the flowers. But then, a passing waiter accidentally spilled hot coffee on me. I screamed in surprise and jumped up from my seat. Of course Mom noticed me. She got really angry and took me home without even letting me say goodbye to Barry. I felt so embarrassed. Why did my mom always have to ruin everything? At home, she forbade me from leaving the room. "And you're not going to the dance either." It was so unfair, I burst into tears. I felt quite down the next few days and didn't even talk to Sarah. But on the day of the dance, I came to my senses and decided that I was tired of being a goody two-shoes. I put on a beautiful dress, did my makeup, and tied sheets into a rope like I had the previous time. I got down using the window again, but as soon as I got to the ground, my mom busted me. How has she noticed me? My mom seemed to read my thoughts. I'm a cop. I knew you would try to escape again. It's my life. It's not fair that I can't date a guy that I like. My mom sighed and said that she had seen Barry at the police station. He's bound to be a bad influence. That's why I don't want you to date him. Her phone suddenly rang. She had to go to work at once. She told me to go home and let Mr. Clark in when he came to finish fixing the refrigerator. I didn't believe that Barry was a criminal, so I decided to ignore Mom's words and go to the dance. As I was leaving, I bumped into Mr. Clark. He was surprised I wasn't at the dance yet. "I'm going there right now. Mom isn't at home, but you can still come in. It's all right. I know she was called to work. When I came to the dance, I immediately saw Barry on the stage. He was singing one of the songs we had chosen together. After finishing, Barry got down from the stage and asked me why I looked so upset. I immediately demanded he tell me why he had been brought to the police. How do you know about that? I silently folded my arms on my chest and frowned at him. Barry looked guilty. I'd been working part-time at a music store for a long time to save money for a new guitar, but the store owner deceived me and refused to give me salary, so I stole that guitar. But then I realized that I shouldn't have done that. I came to the police and confessed everything. That was probably when Mom had seen him. I'd been right. Barry wasn't a criminal. Then it turned out that the store owner had already deceived many employees, and my words helped to arrest him. But since then, I had been paying for everything, even for ruined cookies. It was such a relief. We started dancing, but then I thought of something. How had Mr. Clark known that Mom had been called to work? I'd only said she wasn't home. I suddenly remembered where I'd seen Mr. Clark before and felt like someone had hit me over the head. He was that criminal that Mom had arrested not long ago. It was just that he had shaved his beard. He'd probably found out about my mom's favorite movies and food from the profile I created. That must have helped him gain Mom's trust while using his fake name. And then he found out when no one would be at home. But why would he do that? Maybe he wanted to steal Mom's documents and get revenge on her. I called my mom and told her about my suspicions. Mom said that nobody at the station had called her to work. Perhaps the fake Mr. Clark had set it all up. Mom was already on her way home and she had called other cops as well. But they were still far away and probably wouldn't be able to come quickly enough. I decided not to waste any time and asked Barry to give me a ride. We jumped on his bike and drove away at full speed. The school wasn't far away from my home, so we managed to get there before Mom and the police. The criminal was most likely still inside. That's when I remembered about our enhanced alarm system. If someone tried to break into our house, bars would automatically barricade the windows and doors. I jumped off the bike and picked up a stone from the ground. My heart was pounding like crazy, but there was no other way. I had to do it. I swung the stone and threw it at the window. The alarm went off instantly. All the windows and doors were immediately locked, so the criminal could no longer escape. Soon we heard sirens and police cars drive up to the house. Mom and a couple of cops went in and arrested the fake Mr. Clark. I was right. He had tried to steal the documents. Then Mom came up to me and said, "Irma, you surprised me. I didn't know you were so brave." She looked at Barry, paused for a second, and said something I wasn't expecting. "Maybe you really are a good guy. Thanks for your help. You can hang out with my daughter. I don't mind anymore." I couldn't believe my ears. Were things finally looking up? Since that day, everything has truly changed. Barry and I started dating. Of course, it's not easy for Mom, but she's trying to be less controlling. I admire her and dream of following in her footsteps. Do you think I'll make a good cop? Write in the comments down below.